you are an amazing group of people. The world really didn't know about ESG. We started talking about it when it was just a conspiracy theory. And I think because of this audience and the audiences of Russell Brand, that people now know what ESG is, and they're standing up against it. The other thing that this audience, and I did it out of stupidity, I just didn't know you don't touch this rail. I began talking about George Soros 20 years ago and speaking out loudly about him, and found him to be a very dangerous person. Because of that, a lot of money was spent through Media Matters and everything else to, in particular, target me and my voice. And he has rallied people to say that I'm an anti-Semite for it. Nothing could be further. I won the Defender of Israel award. I mean, I'm just saying. But you always claim that you're an anti-Semite if you speak out about him. I don't care what his religion, what his creed, what his race. I don't care about any of it. I don't care. He, and America is now seeing it firsthand, is systematically dismantling the West. Look at what he's done to some of our cities. His influence is dangerous. Alan Dershowitz has just written a very brave article. It's not going to... Alan, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you so much. I think I was there when you got the Defender of Israel award, and I stood up and I gave you a standing ovation.
Yeah, thank you.
You deserved it. And you're not only a defender of Israel, you've been a defender of the Jewish people, you've been a defender of religion. How dare anybody call you an anti-Semite? The only anti-Semite that we've discussed on this show so far is George Soros, who was a self-hating... He's not even a Jew. I mean, he started his life by collecting the property of Jews who were being sent to the concentration camps. That's how he made his first money. He's devoted his life to hurting Jews, to hurting Israel, to hurting America. And nobody's attacking him because he's a Jew. Obviously, he's hardly a Jew at all. As a friend of mine would put it, he's Jewish only on his parents' side. And his mother, he brags, his mother was an anti-Semite. So how dare anybody suggest that criticizing George Soros is anything but good for America, good for the Jewish people, good for Israel? I'm going to continue to criticize him, as I've been doing along with you for the last 20 years. Let people call me an anti-Semite.
I tell you, this is not going to make you more popular.
Can I be any less popular? I am so despised today. I used to be one of the most popular guys around.
I know.
And I defended Donald Trump, so all the Democrats hated me. And then I decided not to vote for Donald Trump, so a lot of the Republicans hated me.
Yeah.
So it's me and my wife and my kids and you and a few other people.
So you make the point. I mean, I don't know what it's going to take, because the media is all in for George Soros. He funds so many things. And his son, I believe, is worse. And he's got control, I think, of 17 of the $19 billion of these funds. But no one in the media will say anything about George Soros. And he is dismantling our country.
Well, and it's worse than that. The Jerusalem Post had an article saying every Jew must support George Soros. And I wrote back and saying, not this Jew. I'm not going to do it. I see evil where I see evil. I see good where I see good. I support Christians when they do the right thing. I oppose Jews when they do the wrong thing. And you do the same thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're not going to defend somebody just because they're a Christian.
Nope.
Obviously, some of the worst people in the world have come from various backgrounds and various ethnicities. You don't ask the question, what's your religion? First of all, Soros isn't religious, but you don't ask the question, what is your religion? You ask the question, what did you do?
Correct.
What have you done to America? What have you done to fund prosecutors who are not doing their job and politicizing the criminal justice system? What do you do when you take an organization like Human Rights Watch, which was a wonderful organization, neutral, unbiased, and you turn it into a hate America, hate Israel, hate human rights, and just use human rights as a weapon against conservatives and in favor of the hard left? That's what George Soros' legacy is. I know his son. He has a house on Martha's Vineyard. I know one of his sons. I don't know the other one. He seems like a nice enough guy. And, for all I know, George Soros can be a nice guy in person, too. But you judge people by their actions.
Yes.
And by his action, George Soros is an evil. I mean, I think that Elon Musk got it right. He's a supervillain. He's a supervillain. He may not be a cartoon character, supervillain.
Well, but
in real life, he's done an enormous amount of harm.
In your op-ed, you said you won't call him Magneto because you don't really know who Mr. Magneto is. However, I've always said I thought he was more like the Emperor in Star Wars. Oh, you think your friends will save you? Anyway, there are a couple of countries, I think one in Asia, I think Hungary maybe another one, that has banned his, Open Society Foundation and his NGOs from coming into the country. I think we should do that here. But
I don't agree with that. And I also think that there are some countries in Poland and in Austria and in Hungary, there have been some people who have used Soros's Jewish heritage against him in order to promote anti-Semitism. We all condemn that. Yeah. In the same way we would condemn if anybody used somebody's Muslim heritage or Christian heritage to condemn them. You condemn the person for what they did, not for what they are. And so, I'm going to continue to condemn those Europeans who point out Soros's religion, who compare him to, for example, the Rothschild family. And the Rothschilds were real Jews. They helped establish Israel. They, for the most part, were great people. And in that case, they only used their Jewishness to demonize them. But that's not the case with George Soros. And I'm going to continue to criticize him, and I encourage others to criticize him without reference to his religion.
So I've never referenced his religion, and I've actually given him the benefit of the doubt on his childhood during the Second World War, because, I wasn't in that situation. I don't know what I would have done, and I don't want to judge somebody for that. What has bothered me about that is he said he's never given it a second thought. He's never had any question about what he did.
And he said if I hadn't done it, somebody else would have. That's what that's what everybody said.
Yeah,
doing horrible things in Germany. No, you stand up for what's right. And I still love to hear him explain his statement, his bragging statement that his mother was an anti-Semite, as if that's something to be proud of. Mm-hmm. I mean, my father was a hardworking guy. I'm very proud of him. He put me through college and law school. I'm proud of my father. But the idea of saying your mother was an anti-Semite, there must be something about that makes him gloat with glee. What he argues is he doesn't like particularism. He likes universalism. Mm-hmm. It's just an excuse. That's just an excuse. What he doesn't like is Israel. He never has. What he doesn't like is America, the country that saved him and saved so many of us and our parents and our grandparents. My grandmother, who came from a little shtetl in Poland, was such an American patriot. She would take us on July 4th to the Statue of Liberty, make us pledge allegiance, and then sing in her broken accent the Star-Spangled Banner, including the second verse, which nobody knew, but my grandmother with her thick accent knew the second verse because she just loved America. And she loved Israel. And, I'm so proud of her. She made it from nothing. And, George Soros, bless him, he made a lot of money. That's okay. That's the free market. But to use his money in the way he does in such a destructive manner is appalling and deserves to be criticized. And I'm going to continue to criticize it. I got a lot of flack for doing it, but I'm going to continue to do it.
So, all right. So let me ask you this. So the only solution to, and I'm asking you sincerely, I don't have an answer. The only solution to his use of money, the way he uses it, for instance, in all of our cities, is just to expose him and talk about it? I
think so. I mean, there are ways of limiting expenditures, but they run into the Constitution. And generally, I don't support, money is free speech. And so
Right.
let him do what he wants to do. But, let's condemn him for the way he spends his money and the way he tries to influence America for the worse. So I wouldn't, take away his money or take away his ability.
Oh, you can't.
Influence. But I would hope that people wouldn't be influenced by his money to defend him. I think a lot of the people who jump to his defense and who criticize us are probably direct or indirect beneficiaries of his money.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why Media Matters and other organizations like that jump to his defense immediately because they want his money.
Thank you so much, Alan, for everything that you do, and just another notch there on the popularity poll for Alan Dershowitz. Thank you so much, Alan. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
You bet. Alan Dershowitz, Harvard Law School professor emeritus, host of the Dershow, which is a great podcast, and the author of Get Trump. Not that he was saying get Trump. He was anyway.
I don't think we've ever had a guest on that's been more negative on George Soros than you. I think we just set a new record. That was an impressive. And I guess can you call Alan Dershowitz an anti-Semite? Is that what the next step in this little charade is?
No,
I guess we're going next.
They will ignore it, or they will just say he's going senile or whatever it is. They will find their attack.